Money is the root of all evil. That's a fairly well known and widely accepted statement, but I'd like to take a moment to challenge that notion and explore what I've gathered from my own observations and experiences that lead me to believe that might not be the case. I would like to explore what I believe to be the root of all evil and what's brought me to the conclusion I've reached. Let's start by observing the word evil. Now, let's flip that word. Evil in reverse is live. It is my belief that what evil truly is an inversion of life essence. It is that in which is devoid of life, morality, and emotion, because the things that breed evil all share a commonality amongst them, and that is lack. It is the absence of and the futile attempt at gaining, dominating, and taking from the physical what you are missing and devoid of within. I believe there are three main roots that manifest as evil, and those are envy, greed, and lust. Again, what all three of these energies have in common is they are birthed from a belief of lack. Something to notate before I continue is envy is often confused with jealousy, but those are not the same thing. Feelings of jealousy often derive from fear or threat of losing something that you value, whereas envy is the desire to take or have what someone else has, fueled by resentment towards the individual who has what the envious person desires. Moving on. Money, just as any other monetary tool or material tool, is simply that, a tool. And just as with any tool, it can be used to help or harm depending on the energy of the individual wielding it. Money in itself is not evil. But when beings operating in an energy of lack or black hole soul energy, as I like to refer to them, that is when it is a tool that can be and is weaponized and used to harm. Most individuals who weaponize money are often individuals who weaponize many things, whether that be their bodies, emotions, connection, influence, social systems, as well as other beings. A perpetual state of need and feed which slowly phases their ability to grow or seed. Just as evil is an inversion of life and living, people who operate in the energy of evil have an inverted perceptual lens. They seek control over others because they lack self-control. They lust instead of love because they lack self-love. They dominate others because they lack self-discipline. They steal personas, opportunities, and material things because they lack a sense of self. You see, it's a bit of a fallacy. In order to cultivate self-esteem, self-confidence, self-love, self-control, self-discipline, inner strength, morals, and invaluable values, one would need to self-reflect and self-correct. But how does one self-reflect when they've completely disconnected from themselves? What happens to your soul and sense of self when you operate in this inverted energy and have become accustomed to perceiving and believing through an inverted perceptual lens? Well, I have a theory. You invert your soul. You create a black hole where source life essence used to glow. And the place where you once birthed light, life, creativity, ideas, love, authenticity, truth, and wisdom become a place where nothing births or grows. A place that only feeds, drains, and needs, an endless black hole, a bottomless pit. And at that point, to turn inward and look becomes a primordial threat, because if they were to look in, they'd find endless nothingness. And they'd infinitely fall into themselves. Never reaching or touching stable ground, never touching the light, the growth, the life essence, because their entire essence and sense of self exists only in their external space. And so they endlessly feed on their external space. They harvest off of and drain those who still hold light, those who exude life, and they impulsively drain them dry. They suck in all of the love that is given. They guzzle, hoard, and hide resources, attention, energy, in any and all forms. You see, humans are incredibly resilient and adaptive, so they adapt to their new black hole vessels. They strategize, manipulate, lie, steal, kill, destroy, dominate, incite chaos, pain, loss, lust, need, with every being and tool they connect with or obtain, and they feed on it all. Never satisfied, never full, forever empty and needing, detached from seeding. Their inverted lens infects their minds. They start to view their perceived power over others, their ability to manipulate and puppeteer their environments, slowly luring beings and things into their mouths, down dehydrated throats, and into their black holes. So those beings can devolve into black holes too. Because the only thing that black holes birth, or rather infect, into existence is more black holes. They tell themselves this is intelligence, power, freedom, benevolence, not realizing or able to perceive that they are a slave to everything and everyone outside of themselves. Because outside is the only place they pull life from, pull power. But reverted, their power is being held and trapped there. It doesn't originate from within. Nothing does. Because nothing grows or is birthed from their black hole souls. Sure, they can emulate what they see in those who still live, the love, empathy, strength, confidence, light, but they cannot truly embody or experience it for themselves. And the most ironic and interesting illusion that this inversion feeds is the way they view those who authentically embody and exude what they emulate and what they corrupt for gain. Morality, honesty, integrity, love, empathy, connection, they view as weakness, even though that is true strength. Authenticity, confidence, courage, open-mindedness, they view as arrogance or as a threat, even though that is true power. And of course they do. They have nothing inside of themselves to compare or relate these things to, because they are empty, afraid, weak, and forever starving. That is the root of all evil. Disconnecting your connection to source, to life energy and essence, fracturing your connection to truth, and selling your soul for the comfort of delusion and illusion, trading the infinite universal connection for an inversional disconnect. Anywho, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope this shed some light on, a different way of viewing evil. I was just happened to be looking at that word today, and I realized that that word in reverse is live. And therein I wrote. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'm sending you so much love to the universe and beyond. Bye!